and that's called the hydroplate theory. They talk about the geologic column, how that proves evolution. In the textbooks, they have the Cenozoic, Mesozoic, Paleozoic, all these different layers they say are millions of years old. Well, if you get a jar of dirt, shake it up, it will settle out into layers for you. It's called hydrologic sorting. And so we've found, and people have seen, trees in the sediments going through all these different sediments that they say are millions of years old. And so there's only two explanations for this. One, either the trees grew in the sediments, or two, the sediment came down on top of the trees, and many of these trees are upside down. So all these layers, I believe, were caused from the worldwide flood. In fact, the Grand Canyon, they say that the Grand Canyon had gradually been eroded by the Colorado River. But if that's true, there should be 1,000 cubic miles of sediment at the river mouth, and you go to the river mouth and it's not there. And after the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980, 600 feet of strata were deposited, and in one day it formed a canyon system 1/40th the scale of Grand Canyon. So these things were formed very rapidly and not over a long period of time.
That gradualism is blown apart by just what happened at Mount St. Helens.
Exactly. Evolutionists date the layers of rock by the fossils they contain, and then they date the fossils by the layers of rock that they're in. And this is circular reasoning. And fossils don't simply form when plants or animals simply dot and rot away. To become fossilized, a plant or animal must usually have hard parts such as bone, shell, or wood. It must be quickly buried to prevent decay and must be undisturbed throughout the long process. And the fossil evidence for a worldwide flood catastrophe is everywhere. It's very evident. And fish have been found by the billions with fins extended and eyes bulging. They found mammoths with the last meal perfectly preserved in their stomachs, and that kind of food isn't even found in that area today. They've found whales that are buried straight up and down. They found fish fossilized, giving birth to their babies. They found clams that are petrified, and they're found closed, and when a clam dies, it opens up. The Bible says that all the mountaintops during the flood were submerged underwater. And Edmund Hillary, in 1953, he climbed Mount Everest, and when he reached a 26,000 foot level, for the next 3,000 feet, he found seashells and clams all over the place. So how do you get seashells on every major mountain range only if the worldwide flood really happened? Some people believe Noah's Ark is on the top of Mount Ararat in Turkey. What's interesting is on Mount Ararat itself, they found pillow lava, which is a unique formation that occurs only when molten lava emerges from the earth below water. And they've also found salt crystals on Mount Ararat, which could only be formed underwater. Is there any written evidence for a worldwide flood? Well, the flood account is found on Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian cuneiform tablets, and these all date back to about 700 BC. In fact, a study of